Hey everybody, this is hdshaves here, and I'm back with another video. Today, just gonna talk to you about a few things that have been sent to me to try out, which is very nice of those individuals. First up, That Darn Rob V3 Fanchurian, 26 millimeter knot, fan shape, obviously. It's got a little bit of give in the backbone, which I like. It's got a little bit of gel, not too much, and cool little handle here. So this brush has been surprisingly nice to use. I had a friend send me a few different Badger brushes to try out, and this one has been my favorite so far. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let that soak in some water while I keep talking to you. Next up, another thing that was sent for me to try out was this gem Damaskeene. So these are some of the more desirable gems for some reason, and so they usually fetch a little bit higher price than like the Gem Juniors or the 1912s or 1914s, any of those kinds of models. Although this is most similar to a 1912, like a Gem Junior, except you'll notice here that on the cap it is slightly curved, which some people think that affects the shave quite a bit, and I would agree, at least compared to how my Gem Junior shaved last week. Compared to this is much smoother. It feels almost like night and day. It's not as efficient, it's not as aggressive, it's much more mild too because of that. But this sort of reminds me of a Gillette flat bottom tech, which is, I've talked about that razor a lot on this channel. It's just a very mild but beautifully smooth vintage piece, and that's how I kind of feel about this Damaskeene as well. So that's going to be the razor for today. The soap, I've got it pressed into the Captain's Choice bowl here. It's a sample of the newest release from APR and Southern Witchcrafts Gravefruit. I don't have a full size container, but Stephen was very kind to send me the sample. I think he actually sent it before it was released too, which is of course very generous of him, and wish I would have gotten to it sooner. It's a beautiful scent. Strong citrus, strong grapefruit note, obviously, but there's some kind of sweeter, higher notes up there, and there's some kind of muskier bottom notes to also, balance that out a bit. And it's been very enjoyable to use, very appropriate for the summer weather. And then finally, I'm going to be finishing up with the Barrister Mann Fougère Angelique. Almost forgot the name there. I got this sample from Maggards. It's kind of a nice sort of cousin to grapefruit, if you will, in terms of the scent ballpark that it's in. So with all that said, I'm going to wet my face, and I'll bring you back in when I start to face lather this soap. All right, we're back after really not too much time working there in the bowl. I started with a pretty wet brush because I know that the Southern Witchcrafts base likes kind of a wetter start with the brush. And while I was trying out these brushes, I wanted to use a soap base that I was kind of familiar with. So that's why I picked this soap for the week. And yeah, let's get this worked into a face lather. It looks like we got plenty of water in it to start, which is great. So be right back. All right, this is what we're going to start with. Fantastic scent coming up off the soap. This is definitely one of those soaps where if you just smell it out of the container, you're not going to get the full experience, compared to once you really lather it up like this. There's just so much going on, but it's not overpowering. It's just great. So we're going to start with the Damaskeene here. Pass one with the grain. very nice first pass. The razor feels like it's gliding nicely over this lather, and we're gonna rinse and come back for pass number 2 here. All right, pass number 2 across and against the grain. All right, nice two pass shave. I did some damage earlier this week. I think I just caught myself again. Maybe one of these days I'll be able to get out nick free from these gems, but hey, this is only my 2nd week doing it, trying to cut myself some slack. So yeah, but I feel still about this Damaskeene compared to the Junior, you know, it's a little bit less efficient, but still very, very efficient. I mean, it just plowed through 2 days growth, no issue. Kind of the same feeling as the Junior, in that it didn't make a difference if I had 1 day's growth or 2 days growth. Equally, you know, good at cleaning up. So I'm gonna do my final rinse, come back and talk to you over post shave. For aftershave today, as mentioned, Barrister, Mann, Fougère, Angelique. I found, because you know they have these little spray bottles for these Magra samples, I found that 4 sprays is about what I need. All right. So as the name implies, Fougère, although I find this to be a bit more citrus heavy than Fougère, you know, like kind of green heavy. It's a really nice kind of warm weather scent, and yeah, it's in the Reserve formula too, which is one of the best aftershave formulas out there. All right, with that said, why don't we recap what we used today? Barrister, Mann, Fougère, Angelique, the Gravefruit Southern Witchcrafts APR collaboration. Man, I was really impressed with the scent and the performance. Again, that Southern Witchcrafts base, I think, is one that people are sleeping on in this world of people always trying to release the next best tallow, milk, whatever base. That's a really good vegan base. That Darn Rob V3 Fanchurian, fantastic little brush. I think I'm going to use this a couple more times before moving on to the last brush that my buddy sent over for me to borrow. I really enjoyed using this one. Right amount of splay, right amount of loft, backbone, all that stuff. It's a really nice knot. And then finally, the Gem Damaskeene. Slightly smoother, or actually a bit smoother than the Gem Junior, not as efficient, but a good little razor, and I think you definitely can feel the difference in the head geometry, and that this one is, curved. So a little sneak peek of what's to come. I'm going to continue doing gem razors again while I have so many to try out from my friend, probably through the end of the month. And then Austere August starts in August, which is a little thing we do on Reddit, where you try to use the same setup for a whole month. It doesn't have to be every single item. You can change out a couple things, but depending on how serious you want it to be, it'll be, could be the same exact everything, even the same blade. You don't even change out the blade. So I'm planning to join in that and use that as an opportunity to work on my technique with a couple things in my den that I'm not sure if I want to keep around long term. So I'll kind of be using the month to see if I'll be keeping those items or not. But that's coming up in just a couple short weeks. So in the meantime, if you have any special requests of things you'd like to see me use before that happens, please leave me a note, and I'll try to fit that into a video before August starts. So I think that's all I need to say for today. Thank you all for watching, and see you again next time. This has been hdshaves. Bye-bye.